quiz now, and so you can ask Miss Melissa to pause this if you need any help with this. But here we go. Let's go. Number one is going to be this muscle. It is on the sternum, and then it also connects on the hyoid bone. That is number one. Number two is this muscle here. Boom, boom, boom. That's number two. It is right next to the thyroid gland. That is also a hint. Number three is this really long one coming down here, going all the way back to the scapula. And number four is here, and I'll trace it up like this, down. It is also near the thyroid gland. Again, we'll come back to these after we finish them up on the screenshots if you need to see those. And again, you can always pause this video at the end to make sure that we are getting everybody in there. Number five. Now let's go up to the head. I need to add some layers here. Okay, let's start with number six. This is here. Okay, I'm going to draw it like you did, like you had it on your Quizlet. Okay, so there you go. Looks like that. That's number six. I'm going to erase that drawing so I could see some of the other ones, but I'll put that back. So that's number six. Number seven is between two bones or parts of bones. That's number seven. So that bottom part right here is next to the mastoid process of the inferior portion of the skull. And number eight has two bellies. One, two bellies. That's number eight. Okay, I'll remove a couple layers here. Number nine, there's these two right here. That's number nine, and it starts with the letter G. This little wing off to the side is number 10, and it starts with the letter H. Now let's go to the neck, on the back of the neck. Add a little layer there. And so let's start with 11 and 12. 11 is on the head, right? So that's a hint. And number 12 is on the neck right there. So that's kind of a hint. They both start with the same word. Okay, but the second word for each one of those, head and neck. "13, think big truck. And 14, here's that medial border of the scapula. It's going to elevate the scapula, and hopefully that's a little bit of a hint there for you as well. So now let's go to the pictures, and I can just pause on each one of those. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4. Five. There's 6 as it appears on the Quizlet. There you could see it with 7 and 8. Here's 9 and 10. And here is 11 through 14. Please submit your test on the Google form, or if you are doing this on paper, you can give that to Miss Melissa. Okay, so if you could pause this right now, Melissa, that would be great. And we'll collect those tests. If anyone needs more time too, you can always pause this video. All right, now that all the tests are up, what I want to do next is just kind of go through these last muscles. And I know my 6th period and my 7th period were pretty close to being on the same page. So hopefully you are, but if not, we can just review a few of those. So we were talking about the pelvic region. Yesterday I did a little Kegling, which was exciting, and started to look specifically at these muscles. And so you can open up your Cami and you can take a look at these now if you would like to do that. So I'll pause for just a quick second and you can do that. And then I will finish up with puborectalis and then through the ischiocavernosus and bulbospongiosus and superficial transverse perineal muscle. All right, I can't remember if we started off with this one, but this is the puborectalis. Okay, the puborectalis. You could see that dark spot where that where the rectum would be. I'll show you what that looks like by itself. Again, all of these are part of that levator ani muscle. Okay, so look at the pubis. You can see the pubic bone. You can see the coccyx. So that puborectalis is there. Next to the puborectalis, we have the pubococcygeus. Okay, the pubococcygeus. So once again, there's the pubic bone. Okay, here is that pubic bone again, and there's the coccyx. So hence the pubococcygeus. Okay, so here we go with that. Okay, and you can see that it's going from that superior and inferior view. There's the coccyx, there's the pubic bone surrounding that puborectalis. Okay, next to the puborectalis, we have the iliococcygeus, okay, and there is the left part, okay, there is, the left part and then the right part. So if we're looking at iliococcygeus, it's right here. That is a pretty large muscle. You can look at it by itself. I'm not sure why it's actually in the ischial spine. It's not really on that ilium, so I have to figure out someday like why they called it the iliococcygeus. It's kind of a weird thing that they would do that. But there it is by itself. Okay, right next to that is the obturator internus. Okay, so if you remember from our hip, the obturator internus would be right there at that obturator foramen in the hip. So in between that pubis and then the ischium. So and look at that origin insertion. It's such a cool muscle. You can't really see it really well in this diagram, which kind of stinks, but actually inserts there to the greater trochanter. Okay, so for the purposes of this diagram, the obturator internus is right there. Kind of stinks as far as like looking at it from this view, but it's the best way to do it at this point. Okay, so then let's move on to next is the piriformis. So we have the piriformis. It's just a tiny little guy. It looks like it there up there, but notice there it's a lot bigger, inserting into the greater trochanter from the sacrum, and it helps with that lateral rotation of the hip. Really a cool muscle, the piriformis. Okay, it doesn't really show up well. Okay, it's right here on this diagram. That is the piriformis. The last one from this view would be the coccygeus. Okay, and this is what it looks like, just right there on the coccyx. And look at that ischial spine, right? So when we look at the information, we've got the origin of the ischial spine. It inserts into that lateral border of the lower part of the sacrum, and it supports the pelvic viscera, elevates the pelvic floor. Okay, so there are those muscles. Okay. All right, there are three more that I want to look at. Okay, and so we want to look at these. This would be the bulbospongiosus right here. And I can show you what that looks like by itself. Here it is. Here's that bulbospongiosus. Why is it not allowing me to tap on that? Boom, boom, boom. Let's see if I need to angle it a little bit. That's very strange. Why it's not popping up there. Superficial transverse perineal muscle. Let's see if I'm zooming in better. That's weird. Maybe something happened to this app. I'll have to look at that later. That's very strange. Okay, so we got two more on this page, and that is the ischiocavernosus. Okay, and so that would be this muscle right here, very tiny little little muscle. Okay, and it would help compress the corpus cavernosum. We'll talk about all of these much later. And then this one right here would be the superficial transverse perineal muscle. Again, I'm going to mention those later. Okay, so bulbospongiosis, ischiocavernosus, and superficial transverse perineal muscle. Okay, now let me take a minute to talk about your e-learning. Okay, so on e-learning, your directions say open the muscle script document in classwork. Okay, so that's the one that is the newest one. So here's the classwork, here is the e-learning muscle script. You open this up, and when you pop that open, you're going to see that it does not say very much. Okay, you look at this and you're like, oh man, what is this supposed to, what's this? It says muscle name and paragraph. Okay, so what exactly do you want to do on that one? Okay, so I am going to give you an example. Okay, in the directions, it once again says that, let me go back to that so I can show you. It says to convert the notes you copied from the Loyola University webpage to a paragraph. I will give you examples in class today. If you miss the Zoom, watch the video of my YouTube page for specific directions. So these are the directions that I'm going to give you. Okay, so when you had your last assignment was should look like something like this, where you had just your stuff pasted. Okay, you got your name, your muscle, your origin, your insertion, your nerve, your action. Okay, and then you found 3 exercises. This is Avery's example. Great job, Avery. But notice when I look at the origin, it says long head, upper inner quadrant, a posterior surface of ischial tuberosity, short head, middle third line of linea aspera, lateral supracondylar ridge of femur, and so on and so forth. Okay, that doesn't flow very well. I need you to put that into a sentence. Let me show you an example from last year. Okay, this was one, I chose this one because not many people have this muscle. So here we go. My muscle is the flexor pollicis brevis. The origin is the flexor retinaculum and the tubercle of the trapezium, and its insertion is the base of the proximal phalanx thumb. The nerve is the recurrent branch of the medial nerve, but it may also be from a deep branch of the ulnar nerve. Okay, so if I were to go to that website that we all worked on before, okay, this one right here, and I open that up, boom, and I look at this. Let's go find the flexor pollicis brevis, okay, and here we go, and you can see that this is what that looked like. Okay, there's no sentence structure there. Let's go back to this one. Okay, notice that it says my muscle is the flexor pollicis brevis. The origin is the flexor retinaculum, and so on and so forth. See the differences. This is what you pasted. This is what I want you to do for e-learning. Okay, so you're going to put it into a sentence structure. Put it into a paragraph. This was a great job. Not everyone's is going to look like this. Okay, this is kind of an all or nothing thing. Okay, now one thing that I didn't have the students do last year and is that I do want you to include the exercise. Now in Avery's case, this is perfect. Okay, begin by standing upright. This is sentence. This is a nice sentence. She can literally just copy this and boom, paste it into the document right here. Okay, that's the paragraph form. Okay, you are not going to just tell me do push-ups. You have to tell me what kind of push-ups to do. You have to tell me how to make that exercise work. Okay, so that's what you have to do for e-learning this time around. If you have any questions, email me. But once again, you want to do that, what you pasted, okay, and put that into paragraph form. Thanks a lot. Miss you guys. Bye.